The NFL Combine is on the horizon, which means all those pre-Combine mock drafts are hitting the internet fast and furious. To take a look at them, he's Paul Dottino. I am John Schmeelk. Paul Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network, he released his mock draft 2.0, has the Giants at the 25th overall pick in round number 1, selecting Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. And if there's one word to describe him, it's fast.
Fast, 19 yards a catch, the Bolitnikoff Award winner as the nation's best wide receiver at Division I this past season. Look at some of these numbers. We're talking over 1,200 yards, nearly 70 catches, and 15 touchdown grabs, John. So the guy knows how to find the end zone. Great with yak yardage, has hands. But what you got to remember about him, primarily a slot receiver with the Vols, he will need to expand his route tree. He only had one big season. His first 2 years were rather nondescript, so he was a late bloomer. The other thing is he'll have to bulk up a bit because he's rather slender against physical press coverage.
He's one of those guys that could break 4.4 at the Combine, though. He might even get into the 4.2s depending on how fast he runs. We'll see. Sticking with the NFL, folks, we'll go to Lance Zierlein. He is the Giants going defense, selecting Trenton Simpson, the linebacker out of Clemson. Paul, he's undersized, but he's smart and he's fast.
Runs into 4.4s. This is another guy that people are going to be really anxious to see at the Combine because he's going to blow up some of those skills. Tremendous athlete, but this is more of a projection now instead of a production guy. You could slot him on the inside at about 6'3", 240 pounds. You could also slot him on the outside because of his speed and quickness. But he will need to develop some more power and strength, especially in the NFL where you're going to have to be able to get through the laundry.
Clemson had an excellent defense this year. He was one of the big cogs in that defense. So, good player. We'll see if he gets into the first round or not on draft day. All right, let's head over to Pro Football Focus. Mike Renner, he's the author of their draft guide. He has the Giants selecting a different wide receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba out of Ohio State. Paul, his 2021 production was phenomenal, but he missed almost all of the 2022 season with a hamstring injury.
You know, before that, he was unbelievable. Had a Rose Bowl game with 15 grabs for over 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, what couldn't he do? But the question remains now, since he barely played last year, even when he did play, he didn't look like the same guy, John. Now, he never had great speed to begin with. He's more of a precision route runner.
Yeah, he was a slot guy when they had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson working outside in 2021. So we'll see, too, if he's an inside or outside player in the NFL. Finally, let's go over to ESPN, Todd McShay, his mock draft. He sticks with wide receiver here, Paul. This is going to be a theme for a lot of these mock drafts leading up to the draft in 2023. Zay Flowers out of Boston College, smaller guy, but a real good route runner, and he's fast.
Yeah, you know, in a lot of ways, he reminds me of Wan'Dale Robinson in that he really is, to me, more of a slot and gadget guy than anything else.
He's only 5'9", 5'10".
Tremendous speed and quicks, no question about that. Juke ability, all that great stuff. But now you got to worry again about the durability factor. When he makes the jump, he's going to have to beat press coverage. He's going to have to be more physical. He's going to have to be able to block some. There is certainly going to be some questions here. To me, he's more of a scheme-specific guy if you want him.
Yeah, he could be a first-round pick. And by the way, a lot of these wide receivers are really specific to roles this year.
Yeah.
You don't have those all-around guys. So it's going to be really interesting to see where these guys go and who decides to pick them to add them to their roster. For Paul Dottino, I'm John Schmeelk. That's a look at the latest mock drafts.